But everyone survived thanks to one manager's crucial decision. This Clarksville church building stood for more than 200 years until Saturday's tornado brought it to its knees.
Keeping you safe, informed, connected. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
A trail of destruction left behind by a monster storm system that's left 6 people dead and hundreds without a home. The worst damage concentrated to the north of Nashville, in communities like Clarksville, Hendersonville, Springfield, and Madison. But those aren't the only places that hit hard. The counties highlighted in red on this map, all suffering some kind of damage from Saturday's severe weather, including portions of West Tennessee, as well as Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Montgomery, Robertson, Stewart, Sumner, Trousdale, and Wilson counties. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. We begin tonight with the latest about the victims of Saturday's storms. The lives of 6 families changed forever as tornadoes pushed through Middle Tennessee. Our Hunter Hoagland is live tonight in Clarksville, where 3 of those victims were found. Hunter, what have you learned about them?
Rory, I mean, the youngest of these 3 victims, just 10 years old, we're actually standing in front of that little boy's home where he was hunkered down with his family yesterday as that tornado came blowing through Clarksville. I've been talking with neighbors out here tonight who say everybody inside made it out safely except for 10-year-old Arlen Cody. So much destruction, guys, that we are seeing out here tonight off Henry Place Boulevard. We're told Arlen was a 4th grader who went to school every day just right across the street at West Creek Elementary School. He loved Pokemon, the Lakers, and enjoyed going to school learning about things like history and music. His loved ones say he was an adored son, grandson, nephew, student, and also a protective and loving brother, cousin, and a friend. His family says right now they're just deeply touched from all the support that they've seen coming their way, and that they will forever be grateful for all of those who showed up to help. Now tonight we are also learning, as Rory just mentioned, the names of the other 2 adults who lost their lives in Clarksville as well. 59-year-old Donna Allen of Florida and 34-year-old Stephen Hayes of Clarksville. We're also sad to report just other devastation now happening in Davidson County in Madison, where we know 3 others were killed at a mobile home park in Madison. Authorities say 31-year-old Floridima Perez and her 2-year-old son Anthony were killed. Their 37-year-old neighbor Joseph Dalton lost his life as well. Guys, though, just so much heartache all across the mid-state tonight as the lives of those who knew these 6 people were forever changed. Back here in Clarksville, though, I do want to point out that the mayor has now lifted that citywide curfew that has been in effect for 9 p.m. these last few nights, just hoping to get people off the streets. Still, though, they are asking people if you do not have to be in these tornado-ridden areas to stay clear, as emergency crews still need a clear way to get in and out. We are going to have much more about these victims coming up tonight at 10, but for now, I'm live in Clarksville tonight. Hunter Hoagland. Rory, back to you.
All right, thanks, Hunter. As Hunter just mentioned, 3 of those deaths were reported in the city of Clarksville. That is where nearly 300 homes and businesses have been rendered uninhabitable. But as our Chris Davis discovered, volunteers are already making a big difference.
We noticed that the garage door was caved in.
Overwhelmed.
Damage to all the front windows. They were blown in.
That might be the only way to describe how Richard Taylor feels right now.
A framework of that piece of trampoline had gone through our front living room window.
So many tasks before him.
Where do I start?
That is, before the invasion. After all, this Clarksville neighborhood is just a few miles from Fort Campbell, where Tyler Skeen and other 5th Special Forces Group members are stationed.
Yeah, the military community is unique. Yeah, you don't have that everywhere, but where you do have it, it's tremendously strong.
Along with the nonprofit, the Aerial Recovery Group, they're disarming debris, one chainsaw and yard at a time.
I don't need you to give me anything. I don't even need water. We're just happy to be here.
But they weren't the only boots on the ground.
Are you volunteering, helping needed?
Yeah.
So many in the Clarksville community showed up to volunteer, it created a minor traffic jam. But the deployment of donations, volunteers, and services is nothing short of military precision here at Mosaic Church, hoping to help neighbors in need.
We are going in, we're helping clean up debris pulled to the street, and we're feeding people here, we're giving out supplies.
The command center will remain open through Wednesday, meaning there will be even more waves of the invasion.
We are a community, we love one another, and we're going to help our brothers and sisters who are in need.
Meaning Richard Taylor is still overwhelmed.
I am so appreciative of the help that they've done, and I mean, it's overwhelming. You have to give me a second.
Overwhelmed.
Just
with gratitude.
Everything they've done.
Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Chris. Because the damage is so extensive, Clarksville and Montgomery County schools will remain closed for the rest of the semester and won't reopen until January 4th. Also, the city had so many volunteers show up and help out today, they're asking for a pause for a few days so they can have time to pick up all the debris those groups helped pile up along the side of the road. Well, as crews work around the clock to help get the city cleaned up and get the power back on, one home in Clarksville that was acting as a temporary shelter for 2 tornado victims was badly damaged in a fire. This happened on General Nealon Drive just this morning. 5 people and 6 dogs, though, managed to escape and were not hurt. So many began this new week by assessing damage to their own homes and property and beginning the cleanup process. And plenty of volunteers, as we've mentioned, have been on hand to help with the first steps, including removing that debris. Well, if you want to help, the city of Nashville has some useful information. NDOT crews will be out to collect that debris, but all items and materials must be separated into 3 different piles and placed at the curb or street side for collection. Volunteers say they're happy to help in difficult times like this.
We've done the whole ditch, everything you see here. It was empty and we're filling it, so.
I've cut up everything to smaller pieces and we moved, there's an entire pile right here and we just moved it all into this ditch for the claw machine, to grab it.
All debris and tornado damaged items should be placed at the curb or street side for collection. City of Springfield is also collecting debris with crews heading out this Wednesday and Thursday. If you need yours to be picked up, again, put that debris beside the road, not on the sidewalk or in ditches if you can, and separate it again into 2 piles there, just brush and non-brush items. And when you go to clean up, be sure to be careful. Wear boots, gloves, and goggles so you don't get hurt. In those piles of debris, of course, are pieces of people's homes and so many memories. And our News Channel 5 team wants to help people impacted. We know you do as well. So we're partnering with the United Way and Community Foundation to raise money to help tornado victims. You can give straight from your phone. Just scan this QR code. There's also a link on our website. Everything you give will go to help victims of this storm. News Channel 5 is providing $5,000 in matching money to get donations started for both funds. Well, tonight we know a lot more about the fireball that so many of you saw on the horizon during the storm. It was in Madison, where the tornado took out an NES facility, triggering an explosion and fire among some high voltage equipment. Our Hannah McDonald brings us new video of the moment the tornado slammed into that substation.
All these neighbors, they were pretty quiet when they were here, so yeah. Train's about the loudest part about it.
Before Saturday's storm, East Campbell Road had minimal traffic.
Yeah.
Morgan Kinch says it's become a bit of a destination after the tornado.
For a while, we had a bunch of cones set up to stop the tourists, but, and there was people at each side kind of asking people and letting them in if they actually lived here, but now they kind of have to keep it open.
Around the clock, NES is trying to repair major damage to North Substation. The transmission substation is a critical part of the electrical grid. As it happens, several NES facilities were in the tornado's path.
If we'd had just a 1/4 mile deviation in that path, either way, we would not have had any of the substation damages.
These clips show the tornado whip through North Substation and electrical equipment go up in flames.
You can see multiple poles down, but that all kind of fell into, and I think that might be what caused all the sparks.
Kinch's family runs Speed Warehouse trailers right across the street. He knows firsthand how much damage this tornado did.
We had a trailer pushing the front wall and bust my fish tank too, but we did get the fish. I picked them up 2 hours later. They were in all the water, and I put them in my little kettle and brought them home, and I put them in a big tub, and they're still alive. Yeah, all 3 of them.
It is the stories of survival and strength, and the fact that no one was killed when the substation caught fire that is fueling these NES crews.
As Nashvillians continue to rebound after Saturday's storm, we at NES are just amazed by the effort and support that our community is pouring out.
In Madison, Hannah McDonald, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Hannah. You know, some of your homes we know have been without power for several days now. There are a few things you can do to protect yourself and your family. If you plan to use a generator, remember, keep it outside and away from windows. Never use a gas stove or oven to heat your home. And unplug electronics if you want to avoid damage from any power surges. A historic church in Clarksville leveled in a matter of seconds. After the break, our Forrest Sanders takes a look back at this building's history and what members now hope for the future.
Sunshine, blue skies, and warmer temperatures. It's what we need as we continue this cleanup. We'll take a look at how long it lasts next.
I feel like I was protected in the building. I don't know if it was the lady's prayer that was praying next to me. I don't know if it was God. I don't know what protected me, but something protected me from the tornado.
That teen recalling the harrowing moment a tornado hit a Hendersonville bowling alley with dozens of children inside. She told our Alexander Cohen why it's a miracle no one was seriously hurt or killed.
It's okay. It's okay.
A video from inside Big Play in Hendersonville is hard to watch.
Everybody stay down!
Around 200 people were inside when the tornado hit. There were 4 birthday parties.
I am peaceful and happy at my job. I just didn't want to die in straight chaos.
16-year-old Gabrielle Vinoy was working at the bowling alley.
There's kids crying. There's a lot of people crying.
During the tornado, she grabbed onto a stranger for dear life.
But I was holding onto her arm. She was praying.
A beer still sits at an empty table across from the go-kart area that's destroyed. With the extent of the damage like this, it's incredible that there really were minor injuries, because over here was where people were bowling, but a manager inside the building had a gut feeling to move people to the middle.
Who knows how many lives they saved.
Big Play owner Brandon Wooldridge says they will rebuild one day.
It's not going to happen overnight, but we will be back to the drawing board, and we will be back bigger and better.
It's hard for Gabrielle and her mom to see the damage in the daylight.
It's emotional looking at it. I'm trying not to cry. I'm just grateful that, that she made it out safe.
And she's thankful for the strangers who comforted her daughter.
The fact that somebody took the time out to pray with her during that time is very emotional.
God knew it wasn't my time to go yet. He knew it wasn't anyone in that building. He knew it wasn't their time to go. The little kids that wanted to just celebrate their birthdays, and it ended in a night of horror.
Reporting in Hendersonville, Alexandra Cohen, News Channel 5.
Wow. Thanks, Alexandra. The nonprofit, get this, Live Love Nashville had 500 gifts for children in need piled up inside Big Play. Volunteers and workers were able to help save 90% of those presents. An act of God. That's how insurance agents described this weekend's tornado, which damaged or destroyed so many structures. As Nick Barris shows us, that act didn't just include homes and businesses, but a number of churches as well.
Community Baptist here in Madison was one of several churches hit by the tornado. This one may be the worst, completely destroyed. Rubble and twisted metal is all that remains of Community Baptist Church on Dickerson Pike. The tornadic destruction was total, complete.
That's kind of hard to describe. Real hard. Real hard.
Terrifying?
Very.
Shirley was among those inside the church when the tornado hit Saturday night. Shaking, emotional, she agreed to talk, but not directly on camera.
This is my first time being back to come over to look.
13 members of the church, including Shirley, were trapped and had to be rescued when the roof collapsed.
Yeah, we had a few people hurt, but thank God no one died. So.
That very same tornado swept past Dickerson Pike and slammed into St. Luke's Cumberland Presbyterian just a few blocks away.
This is the thing about the Lord, man. He made people miserable before.
But church member Richard Trent says you persevere and rebuild.
Yeah, people have miserable lives sometimes. but it's the faith that God gives you that is important.
Tornadoes also did damage to Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church in Clarksville. And even further north, this dramatic video shows a twister hitting Bethany Church of Christ in Logan County, Kentucky. And back in Tennessee, at Community Baptist, Shirley will tell you living through something like that shakes you to your core.
You all right? You okay?
She whispers her faith and love from others will carry her through.
Well, you be safe. Shirley, thank you. It's very nice to meet you. You be strong, okay?
Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
In the midst of the cleanup efforts, folks in one neighborhood sharing how they've lost a true piece of history, a building that has stood far longer than any of us have been around. Our Forrest Sanders heads to Clarksville for the story.
We joined the church in 1965.
There's a place that has long brought comfort to Pam McBride. It's in here
This is a sanctuary.
at Little West Fork Baptist Church in Clarksville. And again today,
You can come in here and everything is just like it should be.
it's a place of calm and quiet in the midst of what's just outside. Pam was at home in the church parsonage when her family got the alert: tornado. They ran in here within seconds of the window shattering feet away.
It felt like our whole house was just rising. And then it just went calm. It was done.
What Pam found as she walked out was damage all around her Britton Springs Road home. A tree fallen on a neighbor's house. Businesses across the street leveled. And there was also this.
I looked up and this church is gone.
The original Little West Fork Baptist Church building, a true piece of Tennessee history, was crushed.
About 205 years old. It's devastating.
In the middle of all the work, no one immediately had pictures of the old church building, with the exception of this, in a little Christmas ornament from the building's 200-year anniversary.
It was originally built at the end of Britton Springs Road, and it was brought down here on logs and oxen.
Pam says the original building hasn't been used at all in the past 10 or so years, as the congregation has long moved into the newer, bigger church building next to it. That building has damage.
Other side of the building, the roof is completely off.
But Pam is hopeful her congregation can return soon. And though this is a time to work,
Good Samaritans, this man just came up in my yard a while ago and asked, can I help?
Pam says it's good to know so close by, there is still this place of quiet and comfort.
It is so reassuring. There is so much good in this world.
I'm Forrest Sanders, News Channel 5.
I love the positivity, you know.
There's so much hope. There's so much community. There's
Yeah.
so much help, but there's so much hurt too. You know,
Yeah.
it's really difficult.
It is, but good news for this week weather-wise.
Well, you know, we need this, and I mentioned to someone else, it's always, after big storm systems like this, we usually get into sunny patterns, and there's something helpful about it, but just kind of bitter too. It's walking that narrow line of like, now we get the sunshine, but we need it. We need it. We need quiet weather, and we could warm it up a little bit too, because folks had to deal with really frosty conditions this morning. And it's not just boots on the ground, those that are still cleaning up. The National Weather Service is still conducting surveys across the area. They plan to send 2 additional teams out tomorrow to continue to survey that damage. So we are still measuring and adding up and figuring out exactly how many tornadoes impacted our area and how strong those tornadoes were. This morning it was quite cold. We were in the 20s, frosty conditions for everybody. And those that have been hunkered down without power, that was a cold, cold night. I know power came on for a good portion of Hendersonville today, but not all of it, and it's going to take some time. We've got folks in the dark, we've got folks without heat, and it's cold. So this is a look at the storm reports from Saturday. Now I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, the National Weather Service in Nashville is in charge of our Middle Tennessee communities. The National Weather Service in Paducah oversees our Western Kentucky communities, and the National Weather Service in Louisville is in charge of our Central Kentucky communities. So the long track tornado that started in Clarksville and then crossed into Todd and Logan, 3 offices had to come together and coordinate and share the facts that they found, the information that they had to come up with that report. That tornado on the ground for almost 43 miles. It was an EF3 in Clarksville. It was an EF2 as it went through Todd and Logan, and it wasn't the only EF2. Same thing, confirmed today, EF2 touchdown in Springfield and Robertson County, one in Dixon County. The survey has not been completed for the Madison-Hendersonville portion, so yes, they've confirmed EF2, but they haven't had a chance to crunch the data for Gallatin yet, so a lot TBD there. Sumner County schools will be out again tomorrow. Montgomery, Clarksville, they're just going to say, we're going to see you at the end of winter break. They canceled school for the rest of the week. Winter break was supposed to start Monday, so they're going to give folks time to get the pieces, start to get put back together. I mentioned a warming trend. We need it. Sunshine through Friday, mid-50s. We climb up to 60 on Saturday, and it is bone dry. Not a single raindrop coming through the area. Couple raindrops may kiss our eastern tier on Sunday, but it would be just a smooch, not anything more than that. And we'll keep things mild as we head towards next week, Rory.
Thank you. The Festival of Lights. It's a time to reflect on all our blessings. Straight ahead, how the city of Nashville is celebrating the 8 nights of Hanukkah. It's a sacred Jewish holiday that's been celebrated for centuries. And tonight, the city of Nashville is honoring the tradition of Hanukkah with the menorah lighting. According to the Jewish Federation, more than 11,000 Jewish people live in Nashville, so this time of year is important to so many in our community. We wish them well. All right, we wish everyone well, given what's happened, and looking good.
So we need the dry weather and we need sunny skies. You know, we need folks to be able to get out on the ground without the weather tossing any more curveballs our way, and that's what will happen this week. Tomorrow morning is going to be another cold morning, 20s widespread, but then we make it to 50s. That's a lot better.
Yeah.
That's a lot better, and we'll keep it there all weekend long. Emergency crews have done such a good job getting the power flipped back on for quite a few, but not all.
Yeah.
And they've got good weather to do it.
Straight ahead, our Steve Lehman is in South Florida. John Burton and Jonathan Hutton here in studio. A special preview of Titans, Dolphins, Monday Night Football right here on News Channel 5.